Welcome everybody to 8 Red Trees Tarot. I am going to do a quick and general reading today because of things that have been going on in my life, and it made me think that there's probably other people who have got similar things going on, and that is trying to make a decision when you're in a freeze response, when you have to decide whether or not to go somewhere, do something, I don't, whatever it is, but you just feel frozen. You can't choose left or right because they've both got their own positives and pitfalls, and you're just stuck. And being stuck is incredibly draining because you're basically trying to keep your feet in two different boats and keep them both from rocking and tipping you over. And it's really, really difficult when that happens. Um, and you sit and you meditate and you think about it and you think, I'll get an answer, and you're just not getting an answer. So for any of you out there in the big wide ocean who are feeling that way, I hope if this finds you, this is helpful for you. As I said, it's not going to be a long reading. It's going to be relatively short, but I am going to use my favorite cards for this. We've got a couple of oracle decks, the Prism Oracle and the Chakra Oracle. We've got the Carl Jung tarot deck, only major arcana. And then we've got the Alice in Wonderland tarot deck and the Enchanted Forest deck. I'm going to draw one card from each of these. I'm going to draw three from each of these, and this is going to be the significator as to where your soul is at this moment. What are we channeling at this moment? What is the strongest archetype that seems to be influencing our world right now? So let's start with that. I'll move these over here, and we'll start with this one. Ha! The Hermit. Right. Okay. That's very pertinent to this, I think. So the Hermit, it says on the card, your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Represents introspection, solitude, guidance, paralleling Jung's belief in the importance of self-awareness and inner wisdom. And I have a feeling I know what this is going to mean for me. I think sometimes it's important to do a tactical retreat. You got to regroup. You got to, think about what you're doing. Ha! There we are. We've got both the green of movement, the color of your heart, and the root chakra, which is stop. So this is sitting nice smack in the middle of, do I stay or do I go? I feel like I should start singing that song right now. Should I stay or should I go? Which do you choose? Do you choose movement? Do you choose stillness? The Hermit is very much about stillness. The Hermit is going inside. It's lighting your own darkness so that you can know yourself and you can know whether or not what is going on in your life. What is the purpose of what is going on in your life? And what are your motivations? What is driving you truly? And I don't even think it's a bad thing to say that sometimes fear drives us. Fear is a natural occurrence in our lives, and it is a warning sign for us. It's a protector. It's like the horn going off saying, the sirens going, look, there's something you need to pay attention to here. And I just think we ignore it at our own peril. I think the Hermit asks us to be still. And the Hermit, this card particularly, I love because can you see just the immense space? There's the lamp, there's his house, and there's the Hermit standing on the edge of just the universe. it's not even an abyss, it's a universe. You can see stars in the background, you can see the clouds, you can see, I even think of that as being the Milky Way sometimes, but it's on the inside. It's, I imagine this like he's in just an enormous cave, the world cave, and it's pitch black, and he's lost, and it's confusing, and there is everything and nothing going on at the same time. So he lights that lamp, and he just stands there. And he needs to light the lamp because if he didn't light the lamp, he could walk off that cliff and he could plunge to his depth and be lost in himself. So the light is an anchor. The light is a way of grounding. It's the guidance that we all need. Sometimes it's our inner guidance, sometimes it comes externally. This is, of course, the question we've got here. Do we stay or do we go? Do we move or do we stop? And the red and the green are tying your root chakra and your heart chakra, your Muladhara and your Ajna. No, the name's just gone out my head. Your heart chakra. It ties them together because life is just a constant interplay of being still and moving, and it's knowing when to do it. It kind of makes me think of the serenity prayer, you know, grant me the serenity to change the things that I can, accept the things I can't, and have the courage to know the difference. And that's what we're here for, is trying to figure out, do we move or do we stand still? Let's see what we've got in our chakra cards. I was only going to pull one of those, but they threw two out at me. Got that for this as well. Wow, we've got real dualities working here. They're not making it easy to make a decision, are they? We've got the ups and the downs, the ins and the outs, all of them happening. Ha! Balance and quest. So we've got both coming together again here. Balance is very much like stillness. Balance is, balance for me is static. I've said this before, that in my mind, harmony is movement. Harmony is the Taiji symbol that moves one into the other. It's a constant interplay of qi, the yang, the yin, moving constantly through the qi. Balance is steadiness. As you can see here, there is balance right across. But these people look confused and angry, you know. They've come to an impasse. And the purple of this card is your third eye. And it's, how do you move forward with that? How do you see it all and come to peace with it all? How do you be happy with a decision you make? Can you let it go once you've made it and say, you know what? As long as I made it from my true heart, well, not even from my heart, from my true gut, that I walk forward and I will accept both the positives and the negative consequences, because it doesn't really matter. It's not a right or wrong. It's about movement. It's about going forward, having balanced all of the information that I have for me at that time. And then you've got quest. And here's your blue. This is your throat chakra. This is the supplicant saying, I've got to move forward. I've got something I've got to do. And I'm at the beginning of this quest. And I have to step out into the world and start my movement. And I think these two together are very powerful, because this is saying to me, before you start your quest, you need to make sure you've got all the answers. Well, no, answers isn't right. You've got all the information you can get, that you've got everything at your fingertips to start this quest in a healthy way. I see the bulrushes in the background. I love bulrushes. Near where I live, there's a walk near here. And there's a beautiful old moss that's got these very ancient, it's ancient land, and it's got beautiful bulrushes in it. And I look at them and they always make me think of stillness. And they're very serene to me, but they hide danger and pitfalls. Because when you look at where the bulrushes grow, underneath could be 30 meters of water muddy water that will suck you down and you will never escape it. And they can sit on the side of rivers that are beautiful and flowing, but they can also sit over top of deep stagnant water, and they cover it. And you can see here, again, we've got all possibilities. We've got the beautiful green grass growing with the bulrushes, and it looks really lovely. But we've also got the brown. This is the dead and the stagnant. And to me, this card is the supplicant is asking the mage, you know, I need to know at the beginning of my quest, what is it that I'm aiming to do? What am I walking into? And understand that all things are possible. And that if you go blindly and you don't have all the information at your fingertips, that you're going to, well, you're going to come a cropper. You're going to sink into that mire, and that can be really dangerous for you. So you need to be very careful about how you move forward, and you need to be sensible, and you need to trust. You need to trust what's at your fingertips. You need to trust what you're feeling in your soul, even when that seems really vague. I think sometimes you just, oh, that's jumped out for me. Wow, okay. Suspension. We've got the Hanged Man. Trying to see things through a new way. We've got the Weaver of Challenges. So we've got the Queen of Swords in this deck. Challenges or swords. Superior intellect with our Queen. We've looked at things from a different avenue, and we have now got some maturity. We can live in the ice and snow without it freezing us. We're not the Ice Queen, you know. We're not the Ice Queen from Narnia. We've still got the bird that will fly and bring back messages and send out messages. But we know about stillness. We know about using our intellect, not to freeze anything out, but to be sure of our decisions. And then we've got the World. Right. So with the Hanged Man, we're trying to see the world. We're suspended. We're suspended with the Hanged Man. We're trying to see things from a different avenue because the way we've been looking is just not working. But there's a safety here. He's suspended in a cocoon. You know, it makes me think of being frozen in amber. And he's not going to be harmed here. He can be still, he can be calm, and he can just contemplate. He ties very much in with the Hermit. And again, I think there is it's very important to be able to say, I know when to tactically retreat, and understand that that is not giving in, that is being sensible. That if you're going to go on this quest, if you're going to have movement, if you want to move forward, you need to be sure you understand why you're doing this. Are you doing this because you feel truly driven to it? Or are you doing it because you feel that you're letting people down if you don't? That you're not living up to perhaps society's view of who you are or who you think you should be, what your ego tells you. People see you this way, and so you must do these actions. And that's working from your cognitive brain. That's working from your front brain and your ego self, which is your protective self. You know, it's the self that faces the world all the time. And it's the self that says, I've been the one that's kept you alive all these years, so I know best. But the problem with that ego brain is it can only see what's directly in front of it. It's very difficult for us to see 360 degrees. So we get stuck in only seeing what our ego wants us to see. And it's that which the ego feels keeps us safe. And when I keep saying us, I mean the entirety of the beings that make up who you are. It's all the different voices, every experience you've had, every age you've gone through, every lifetime you've gone through. It's contained within you. You are stardust. And everything from the beginning of time is contained within you. And that being with those beings within you, they need voice and they need an equal chance to speak and be heard. And to understand whether or not we move forward, we sometimes have to be able to let all those voices speak And then hear the one that's the quietest. Hear the one that's just, it's cocooned, it's in the background, it's trying to look at things new, that little one that taps. I think of it as, you see it in a film where you've got the man or woman, the adult standing there, and the small child comes and tugs at her skirt or his trousers or whatever it is in a period film, and says, "Please, sir." And it's that little voice that comes to you that we ignore a lot of the time because it's very quiet and it's very soft and it's very easy to get railroaded by our louder sense of selves. And we need to bring all those selves together, and we need to sit them down at a table, and we need to allow them to be quiet. We need to ask them to be quiet, to allow the quiet voice to speak. And when that voice can give rise and we can take time to trust it, even though it's not the loudest or the prettiest or the smartest or the fastest or even the sanest, but we just go, you know what, I need to give this try a go. I need to go with this avenue. I need to listen to this very quiet voice and see where it takes me. And as I've heard people much smarter than me in terms of spiritual growth and development and understanding of spiritual history, they point out that miracles don't come on winged angels. Miracles don't turn up with choirs of heaven and manna falling down from the skies and stars bursting in the air. Miracles are those quiet things that you almost walk past. Miracles are those opportunities that just don't look very interesting at all and are too plain, are too much of a wallflower, are too soft. And you look at them and you go, well, that's a waste of my time. I need to go grab the shiny thing because clearly that's what's drawing my heart, right? That's what makes me go, oh, pretty. So I'm going to run for it. And you run for that thing and you walk past what is going to open up into being the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Like Alice got really big and she was looking through that little doorway and she could see the garden. She could see the flowers, the roses. She could see everything, but she couldn't get through that door because she got too big for herself. And she had to make herself small to climb through that doorway, to walk into that beautiful, beautiful garden, to continue her adventure. And I think it's really important to listen to that voice. And the Weaver of Challenges is a strong woman. The Queen of Swords, her intellect is just immensely powerful. And she knows who she is. She can be a little bit cold. She can sometimes cut like a knife. She can be a bit too reliant on her intellect, but she's got control of her mind. She knows her mind. She's able to say, you know what? Maybe it looks cold and dark in here, but I know what I need and I know what I'm about. And I'm not going to be swayed from that. She stands tall. She stands proud. She stands in the winter. She stands in the time of true stillness. It's the most yin time of the year when everything is contracted and everything is quiet. If you've ever been in a snowy forest, it's quite an experience because it's absolutely dead quiet, but you can hear the silence. And it's an incredibly powerful place to be. And I feel with the Queen of Swords, she stands in that and she says, just listen to the silence and allow your maturity to shine through. The maturity with the courage to know that you can walk your own path and that it doesn't matter if people agree with it or not, because their opinions of what you decide will change on an instant the minute something else comes along. They're not going to hold you to it. It's not going to impact how you go forward. If you truly decide, I'm walking forward and you can come with me or you can stand still, whatever you do is fine, but I'm moving. And when you have that ability to see the world differently and almost to surrender, like this is a very supplicating position. He's not only upside down, he's naked, he's cocooned in the lava of the earth. This is the tree is around him and he is cocooned right in the middle of that. To be birthed into a new world, to be birthed into somebody who stands tall, even in the silence, even in the most contracted, quiet time of year, looks at his or her mind, they or their mind, looks at it and says, you know what? I make a decision and I stick to it. I'm not going to be swayed by shallow ideals, by baubles, by bits. I know who I am and I know how to walk forward with my own mind. And the colors really complement each other to me going out into the world. You're birthed out of the fire, but you live in the stillness of the white. The white is very representative of the lungs, the lung energy. It's the air that you breathe in. It's it's how you deal with grief. It's how you deal with elimination. It's the constant movement of air in and out with your lungs. The white is just the constant flow. It's the clouds, it's the air, it's the movement. And it's a never ending cycle. It just goes round and round. So you can either be swayed by it and by broken by it, or you can stand and you can say, no, even in small decisions, I'm going to empower myself. I'm going to have agency. And that agency leads you out. This is the beautiful, it's the white stag looking back at you as you come out of the dark of the forest. And you're just looking over this expanse of hills and mountains in the background and the fresh air coming in. You see the dark here, you get a sense of being, at your back is the dark forest, and here you are moving forward. And it's a really, really beautiful image. I find it, I feel like I've got fresh air in my lungs with this. I've sat with something, I've been consumed by it, but I've allowed myself to take control of my emotions, not by not feeling them, but by understanding that they are in me, they're in everyone, they move, they flow. And if I can marry them with my intellect, I can live within my own mind peacefully. I can know my own mind. And that allows you to see the world fresh. You step out into the new world and it's beautiful. I'm not even sure I want to do these ones at the moment, but I said I would, so I'll finish with this. I just find this deck is so gentle and it's really beautiful and it's a very introspective deck. Whereas this deck, I adore this deck, the Alice in Wonderland deck. But it's very vibrant and childlike and whimsical, and we'll see. Let's see. Alice always has something to say to me anyway. All right. Temperance. So again, it's balance. Page of Swords. Interesting. Page of Swords has got some information there. I've pulled both of these, so we're going to finish with these. Temperance. We've got Temperance in the Four of Swords here. We've got balance. But we've also got the Five of Cups. And sometimes the representation with the Five of Cups, I love how these two colors go. They really blend together. This is all about being balanced and just stepping back and seeing what you've got. This for me very much ties into the answer to should I stay or should I go is you need to be still. This isn't a time for movement right now. This is a time for temperance. This is a time for weighing up. This is a time for realizing that you're so busy trying to achieve that one thing that you set your intention on, that you're missing what's already there and full in front of you. That you maybe, I know this can sometimes be a card of stagnation, but in this case for me, I feel that this is actually a rest. You know, the swords are tied above him. You could look at it like they're the sword of Damocles over him, but they're not anywhere where they're going to harm him. They're actually going to fall to the side. They're not going to fall on him. They're well tied in the tree, so he sorted them out, and he's got one beside him just in case he needs it. So he's safe. He's looked after himself here, and he can be quiet, and he can sit with his thoughts, and he can sit with his decisions, and let's just take a break and reassess this situation. It's time for a tactical retreat. And it's time to look at what we do have, because sometimes when you do a tactical retreat and you step back from doing or achieving or getting the thing that you wanted, or that was placed in front of you, it's very easy to feel down on yourself. It's very easy to feel I failed, that I should be challenging myself. I should be moving forward. I should be saying to myself, come on, you can do this. What's your problem? And if I don't do it, I'm a failure. We live in a world that tells us that only those who charge ahead and have loads of initiative and loads of activity and loads of drive succeed. And those of us that stand still will be left behind, and that it will be your fault. It's your fault you stood back. It's your fault you waited. And I think that the strength of somebody is shown in their ability to know when to wait. That either choice, this is the balance card, even with the temperance, like you've got both. And it's neither a right or wrong. Like your decision it doesn't mean that you did a good or a bad thing. Your decision is just a decision. And that everything comes and goes, doesn't it? Everything moves around. And so you need to find that stillness to just go, you know what, on this tactical retreat right now, maybe you're tired. Maybe there's an exhaustion there, and you need to retreat into that. You need to go, you know what, I'm drained. I can't move forward right now. I'm so tired. My internal battery, I just need to climb into that cocoon for a little while. I need to recoup my energy. I need to revive my battery. And it's having the courage to do that. It's knowing your own mind enough to say, I'm going to do that, even though people around me may be saying, oh, come on. If you don't push forward, you'll slip back into fear. That's a big one I hear a lot from people. I'm afraid if I don't keep moving forward, that I'm giving in to my fear, that my fear will take over. We're all taught, if you fall off your bicycle, jump back on it before the fear sets in. And there is some good advice in that. There can be really good advice to don't allow the fear to take hold. Just show yourself that it was just a small blip and you can carry forward. And you know what? When your battery is full, when you feel really balanced and really solid in yourself, that's fine to do. That's absolutely fine to do. But if your battery is dead, if your battery hasn't been nourished, and believe me, your battery is a real thing that runs in you. It is right down there in your lower abdomen. It sits really deep in the pelvis, and it is your root chakra. It takes in the energy of the earth, of the sky, of everything around you. It takes in the energy of the people around you. It takes in all of it. And if it is healthy, if it is burning in a hearth that is well maintained, that has been cleaned out so it doesn't smoke and soot blacken everything, if it's a gentle but steady, warm, nourishing fire, you're going to be able to cook on that. You're going to be able to sleep next to it. You're going to be able to dry your clothes by it. It's going to sustain you. But if your hearth is dirty, if your hearth is broken, if you've allowed that fire to become untended, where all it is ash and soot now, you can't cook anything on it. Whatever you cook on it is going to congeal, because you can't. There's no fire there. You've got to tend that. And it's not just about starting fire. I mean, if anyone's ever built a fire, you start building that fire at first and you see the flames start to come up and you think, oh, awesome, we're good to go. I'll just leave it alone. And then you turn around 5 minutes later, you turn back to it and it's gone out. You have to tend it. You have to encourage it along. You're blowing on it. You're maybe moving the kindling. You might add something to help start the fire, but you have to keep minding it until it takes hold. And then when that fire takes hold, you can sit back. So if you're going to charge ahead in your life, because, movement is the sign of a strong person. Movement is the sign of a successful person. And you move, but your battery is dead, you're going to fall. because movement requires energy. It is kinetic, it moves. It requires your brain power, it requires your essence, it requires your chi to be strong. And if your chi isn't strong and you try and forge ahead, you're going to fall. And you're going to then think, why is my life keep doing this? Well, your battery was dead. You're not going to get in your car and go for a journey in your car and go, I'm going to drive for 200 miles, but I've only got half a tank of petrol. Oh, look, my tank is almost empty, but I'll keep going. I'm going to head out onto the Nullarbor Plain past the very last petrol station for the next 146 kilometers, and I'm on a quarter of a tank. Hey, I'll be okay. You're not going to do that, are you? You're going to make sure you've got a full tank and some extra cans in the back, and you've got snacks and water, and you're going to make sure you're safe. That's a sensible person. So why would you not stop while you gathered all those things together? And I think the Page of Swords brings a youthful energy in. The Page of Swords, pages, they did a lot. They carried messages, you know, and sometimes they fought for their masters. They fought for the person who had taken them on, like an apprentice. You know, you heralded information coming in, you announced people arriving, and the Page of Swords, it's youthful energy, and it can be a little bit, you know, he's got the sword up, right? It can be a little bit, I know best, youthful. I've done something a couple of times, so now I'm an expert at it. And I haven't maybe read, I haven't learned, I haven't read the message that I need to get out, but I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to challenge for it. I know that this message is absolutely sacrosanct and it doesn't need to be tempered in any way. And it's interesting that that's coming directly under the Queen of Swords. And if you look at these three together in your line, you've got the Queen of Swords who's standing there going, do you know what? I hold my peace. I don't need to convince you. I don't need to justify. You've got the youth who's going, you have to do what I say. And it's beautiful blue, but you've got storm clouds. You know, it's very easy to charge off in your mind and think you know right and allow your ego self to take over. And it will bring the storm. It will always bring the storm in the mind. Then you begin, you feel hurt and frustrated, and you're questioning, why did I do that? Why did nobody receive it the way I thought they would? Why didn't I get the reactions I thought I would? And it's because you charged, you know, and you can't always charge. You have to be still. And the Four of Swords is just that. The Four of Swords in this case is know your mind. Maybe you need to sleep on it. Maybe you need to digest everything. You need to look around instead of always looking and reaching for that one thing that you don't have. Why don't you weigh up everything? Why don't you have a little bit of temperance and realize that if everything comes around again, stepping off the roundabout for a brief period of time to recoup your energy is an okay thing to do. And I think that's a really important thing. We get stuck in intention. I say this a lot to the clients that I see. And intention is wonderful. Intention is, to me, the yang. Intention is movement. So intention is, I'm going to do the couch to 5K. I'm going to run. And the intention is what gets me off my sofa. The intention is what gets me downloading the app and buying the trainers and maybe joining a running group or going to park runs or whatever it may be. That's what I do with it. And what is your intention to get running? Well, I want to lose weight and get fit. Yeah, your most common scenario. I want to lose weight and get fit. So you go off running and you run into a group of people, but those people are just running for the hell of it. They got together because they just wanted to get out of the house. They all work from home and they feel alone a lot of the time and they just needed some company. And so they're going to pootle along and do their run. And they invite you to join them. But they're not running with the intensity that you want them to run with because you're there for a purpose. Your intention is, I'm going to lose some weight, so that's why I'm going to go running. So you say thank you very much and you head off. And then partway through your training journey, you're tired. You maybe lost your motivation a bit. You lost your mojo. Life starts getting in the way, and it starts the day you were going to go for a run, something happens and you can't go because you've got other commitments, and you start dropping off. And you're constantly just stuck in the only reason I go is because I want to lose weight and get fit. And you're sitting in your house realizing you haven't gone for a run for like 3 weeks because there's always something cropping up. And you look out the window, and going past you is that initial group, laughing, joking, having a great old time as they run along. And they all look really healthy. In fact, in those 3 weeks, they've all lost a little bit of weight, and they look really empowered because they were paying attention to what they were doing. Each run was its own little microcosm they paid attention to. They were there just to feel good. No intention other than, I just want to feel good. I want company. I want people around me. And that's why I'm running. So they go off and they do that, and they're having a great old time. And you're not running anymore because all you wanted to run for was to lose weight. And when you ran into trouble on that journey, you had nobody to pick you up. You had nobody to, text you and G you up and say, hey, we're going today. Do you want to come? And you go, yeah, do you know what I'd like to? Okay, yeah, you've encouraged me to go. You were so stuck on only run reason that if people didn't meet that reason, you pushed them to the side. If opportunities came up in your running that didn't meet the intention of why you started running, you ignored it and you pushed it away. When what you needed to be doing was paying attention. Your intention got you moving. That's great. Now you're moving. Pay attention. Each time you go out for that run, pay attention to why you're out. Pay attention to what is around you. What does the air smell like? What is the scenery like? How does your body feel? What clothing did you choose that day? How many people are out? Really notice it, because there is a lot of information that will come at you that may broaden and enhance and nourish and build on why you're out there in the first place. So you're still going to achieve your goal, because if you keep going, you will still get fit and lose weight. But it doesn't become your sole purpose. You look around you and realize that why I started this is not just this blinders. It's a whole 360-degree view. And there are many, many benefits that are going to come in at me, but I have to look around at them. And having said that, to do all of that, we come back to mindfulness. Understand what's motivating you to make your decision. And understand that sometimes, even if fear is what is motivating you to make your decision, that's okay. Be kind to that fear. Sit with that fear and ask it what it's trying to protect you from. And don't laugh at it. Don't disregard it. If that fear says, I'm just tired, I'm trying to protect you from overexerting yourself, don't scoff and go, don't be ridiculous. We'll eat some food and get a good night's sleep, and we'll be fine once we get there. Because that's not what the fear is saying. The fear is saying, I know we'll be fine once we get there in this particular instance, but what happens the day after that and the day after that? Please listen to me. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to try and talk to you and get you to understand that you're not protecting yourself. And that's why I set the sirens off. Anyway, I do hope that that is of help to any of you who stumble upon this. I hope that these cards call to you. In fact, I'm going to take a photo of them and I'm going to put this up, because any one of these cards could call to you. And if they do, I hope there's something that I've said today that's going to help calm you and soothe you, nourish your battery, and make you realize that we're all in these boats. We're on our own in the boats, but we're all floating along together. Stay shiny, everybody. Till next time, take care.